First of all, good evening. Maybe we start with a question. Who of you has actually founded a company yet? Okay. Who would say he's an intrapreneur? Okay. And who is neither of the both? Okay. All right. So that's okay. Black is great. Thanks. Okay. Maybe I introduce myself for a bit because I will go through my little CV chronologically and want to tell you something about my experiences with entrepreneurship, with intrapreneurship, how they may correlate. So my name is Dr Redweik. A long time ago I studied chemistry and business administration in Munich. At the end of my studies I changed to the Siemens Technology Accelerator. I will come to that in a second. Through some connections, I got to know that there should be built up the LMU Entrepreneurship Center, so I did that the last 10 years, basically. Today, I'm still a lecturer at the LMU, at the Filmhochschule and Musikhochschule. But besides that, I'm also founder of 2 companies, one in the beverage industries, another one in the social media industry. A singer-songwriter, obviously, so I do write songs for myself and sing them. But also write for a lot of other artists, German-wide and also internationally, from indie bands to Udo Lindenberg, as I always say. And 5 years ago, I also started a business angel round in Munich together with Rainer Mauch, who founded Consors. As of today, we are 20 business angels in the deep core, among them the founders of GMX, Interhyp, Idealo, Dean and David, and other big companies. We meet once a month, have a look at startups, and in the outer circle, we're 80 investors as of today. So let me go back a bit in history. After my studies, I came to Siemens, and I was there at the Siemens Technology Accelerator. So that's 10 years ago, and it was really intrapreneurship. It was really acceleration out of a big company. So the Siemens Technology Accelerator, who of you knows the Siemens Technology Accelerator? A bit. Who works there? No. Okay. All right. You work there. That's great. Welcome. So then you may know Pyrius still, because they are still existing. So this was maybe, I would say it was a success story. So what we had at the beginning, it was a very simple technology, lead CircleNet TitanNet. So that's a material which is infrared sensitive. And there was one inventor within Siemens. And what we did, just like a startup, is we thought about what could you do with it, okay? And we came up with different ideas of this platform technology. And we found areas where we had a cost advantage of factor 10. This is quite an USP when we talk about USPs, right? So the first idea was intelligent motion detection. The second idea was gas sensors for fire detection, but also for industrial applications. And the more visionary thing was microspectrometers, which we came up. So you could build an intelligent oven, for example, which could tell you what would be baked in there and how long it takes. So, and we quite acted as a startup. So there was the inventor, there was a venture manager, himself an entrepreneur, so he was really keen on founding a company. Yeah. And what we did is basically what we talk about today with lean startup and all of that. We took the telephone, we prepared all of these little business cases, calculated them, and just asked customers, competitors, and so on, what do you think about this technology? We also did a deep dive into the market about distribution. We found out that certain cases wouldn't work because just the distributors had other technologies, and our USP, although it was factor 10, wouldn't be enough because like the distribution channels were already closed. So what happened to this company? One of the Siemens venture managers helped founding this in Scotland. So he wanted to go to Scotland, and there was some significant founding there, venture capital-wise. And this was really a success story. Why was it a success story? It's still existing, by the way, called Pyrius. You can have a look at that. As with most of the startups, they are not exactly doing what we planned, but most of the things really came into place. Also the microspectrometers, as I read recently on their page. So the next step in my life was going to the LMU Entrepreneurship Center, which was hardly existing at that point of time. And funny enough, this was also intrapreneurship. Why was it intrapreneurship? The LMU didn't quite love the idea of having an entrepreneurship center just because it's scientifically a top university in the world, but on their flag, there's nothing like entrepreneurship. So just to give you some numbers, as of today, we have supported 170 startups. We have a community of around 20,000 people. We are educating 1,000 students per year. So that's quite impressive. Among our startups, we supported, for example, Flixbus, Tado, and other very successful companies. But we still had to find some way to circumvent all of this non-supporting environment in the university. What we did is, we just acted as entrepreneurs would do. We founded our own company called German Entrepreneurship GmbH. So having all that knowledge, those teams, how to build up a company, how to educate people, we went out starting helping big corporates to actually get their innovation process, their acceleration processes on. With a format called the Entrepreneur Farm, this was 5 years ago, where we sent very talented students and entrepreneurs to big companies working on ideas for 3 months. Often in a big company, you have the problem, okay, maybe we have a good idea, but we don't have the resources, the time to really put that into place. We did around 40 of those projects, and this evolved, for example, at Allianz, that they said, okay, it's great results, we showed that to our board, but somehow we have to get the process more organized. And this was the beginning, for example, at Allianz, of the Allianz Digital Accelerator, which we helped building up. So maybe let's talk a bit about entrepreneurial and intrapreneurial thinking at that point. As I founded 2 startups myself, I think, and saw a lot of entrepreneurs the last 10 years. Factors of successful startups, I just did some notes here because I don't have slides. Team. So you always hear about that team, but that's really at the core. Mainly the vision, a common vision, because you won't run in the same direction if you don't have the common vision. And sometimes those are very human things, that some people don't want to do what other people think they should do, and so on. The next thing that I learned from successful startups is fast decisions. Yeah? I never ever seen a startup coming with a business plan and exactly executing on that business plan. So which means vice versa, the only important, well, beyond a bit of intelligence, thing you need is fast decisions, because you have to adapt anyway. The third thing is really some basic management tool called who does what until when. Otherwise, things won't be done. I know that from my own startups. The next thing is timing, successful timing. One of the startups at the LMU Entrepreneurship Center called Aloka, anyone knows that? They came with a location-based service technology platform, and they were just at the right time. There were a lot of people around there just doing the same, but they were at the right tip of, there was mobile internet, there was location-based services, they got big customers, and of course, they also got a good team member on their board. Get the word out. This is the thing entrepreneurs should do, in my opinion. Talk about what you're doing, pitching your thing all the time. And this is exactly the problem when it comes to corporate entrepreneurship, intrapreneurship. Because you have maybe some NDA restrictions, you may not be allowed to pitch your idea at an investor's dinner, as the startups do in our cases. Signals and supporters. So when we have startups at our business angel round, the more signals you bring, and I mean signals like letter of intents, maybe patents, maybe great supporters you have, the higher is the chance of getting funding, obviously. You have to look for the same things in a big company, of course. Get your supporters. Make your boss a business angel. Think of him as a business angel. Yeah? And also the boss should think of you as his startup, not of losing you as an employee or something. Otherwise it won't work. It takes time. What do I want to say with that? As an entrepreneur, you're thinking about your idea 24 hours. That's just necessary, and it's just happening because it's your idea. If in a corporate, you're just working on that for half a day or 1 day per week and are fully loaded with projects over the rest of the time, you won't get the things done. Stopwatch versus calendar. This is actually very funny. I heard a startup say corporate, doing a joint venture with a corporate, we are working with the stopwatch, you work with the calendar. And this is just bringing it to the point, right? As a startup, if you have a look on your GmbH account and you see the dollars or the euros dropping out, you have some kind of fear and also some kind of pressure. But of course, in a corporate, when you have a salary of 5,000, 6,000, 7,000, you're used to have your weekends, well, there might be a missing incentive. Yeah. And finally, market check. That's also a bit together with the thing getting the word out, really doing a market check out there. Because sometimes intrapreneurs tend to think, okay, we have a big brand in the back, so we don't need that kind of a magic product, yeah? Because we'll get it out anyway with the brand in the back. But you'll never compete against the market with having this, this theory in your mind. How much time do I have? Okay, and yeah, okay. And maybe one thing that I learned from pitches with the business angel rounds, but also with the corporate entrepreneurship and intrapreneurship is, when you go to a pitch, when you present the thing, send your showmaster and your nerd, as I would call it, okay? Because it's about sales in the beginning, but it's also about selling your idea, selling your team, yeah? I had a great idea and team at the last business angel, and I was so annoyed that they did not send their showmaster, because they just didn't manage within some minutes to get their idea to the people, and they didn't get an investment. So that might be what happens. But don't only send your showmaster, also send the guy who knows about the numbers and the technology. Yeah, because if you have a, 20 minutes round and it goes to deep dive, you better know what is happening in the depth. So 4 seconds left. I think I say thank you.